Trying to say short ass. Hello and welcome to this episode of Life at La Bolla, and this one is all about how we catch the olive fly in our olive groves in a very organic way. This is so simple, it's untrue, and when I researched olive fly and how to catch olive fly, this gadget came up. It's an Italian manufactured gadget that they have called TTrap, and the idea is that that goes on top of a bottle whose neck it needs to fit over. Lesson from last year. It goes in like that, and then you hang that with string around the tree. So those are two essential ingredients, if you like, tools for this job that you need. Other than that, of course, you need a fish, and when I researched it, sardines came up, and half a sardine into each bottle. Top it up with water to about a third to a half full, and then after a month you replace because it would have evaporated anyway and dried out with flies going in there, you top it up with liquid ammonia, and we use water as well as liquid ammonia. Otherwise we've got 70 trees, so we'd just be getting through the ammonia like no business. So you top it up, and then you keep that going with a monthly top up with water until October, when you take it down just before the olive harvest. So bottles, tap traps, a fish to go in, and string to tie up on the tree, scissors and a step ladder, and that is it. Oh, and water and ammonia later. You only put the ammonia in after a month. We're ready to share this process with you this year. Last year it was all very new and a little bit traumatic, because to start with I barely knew where the fishmonger was, let alone what to ask for in the way of fish. I didn't have enough bottles. We didn't have a kitchen to be able to cut up the fish. I thought I was doing the right thing by asking for a bag of fish scraps from the fishmonger, which was completely free of charge. Because in my head I had things about, sardines would cost a small fortune. So he gave me a bag of fish scraps, but it was also seafood scraps, so cutting that up so that it could fit into any of these bottles was an absolute nightmare. I had to do it on the ground out here on the veranda. And just to give you a taster of what it was like last year, we've got the clips that we did record last year. This year is going to be smooth and seamless, you will see. Morning. Yesterday I sweet talked the local fishman in San Michele Salentino and said, I need lots of raw fish scraps please for my olive fly mix, and they understood my very bad Italian, and this morning I picked them up and he gave me a bag full of scraps, which I think the local cat's already smelt, and I'm going to have the very horrible job now of putting some scraps into each of these bottles. I haven't got 75 bottles, couldn't collect them all, but some neighbours got involved and have given me as many as they can. So I've got 53 bottles.
It looks nice though, Sam.
Thanks.
What bits of fish are in there?
It's everything, from what I can tell.
Nice.
Scraps.
Sorry, because I'm videoing you. This is Sally having lots of fun chopping up dead bits of fish and putting it in bottles. Nice. How many have you got to do?
53 bottles, Pete. 53.
Lovely.
Yes.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go and cut the trees.
Okay then.
So you enjoy yourself.
Okay then.
Bye.
Bye. So today is TTrap day, and TTrap day is when I've got the fish, and I've got now going to get my bottles, which have been stored for most of them for over a year, because I emptied them out from the last lot, and then I'll get the tap traps themselves that go on the top, and then I'll take you through what we're going to do this year. Luckily, it's going to be in the kitchen, not sitting on the veranda outside. So this is where I've been storing the plastic bottles, and this bag is pretty much new bottles from this time. I think these two might be the ones from last year. And these have all got to go now into the kitchen and lined up. And the good news is I know that these all fit the tap traps, unlike last year where I didn't have enough bottles and we ended up improvising and making contraptions to try and hang them without the tap trap bit on the top. So this is good. And I might even have too many, which means that some of the big trees might get to have an olive fly trap as well. So nicely tidily spread out in the kitchen, and these are the fish that we have this year. So they're called alice. When I asked if they were comparable with sardines, the fishmonger said absolutely, they're just smaller. And the nice thing about this is, unlike sardines, which I would have had to cut in half to put a half in each bottle, I can just literally slip one of these through the top and that's it. So alice came to the great cost of €11 and well worth it compared to last year. So there's a bit of a, I'll talk while I do this, but there's a bit of a funny story about getting the fish in the first place. So I was told that sardines is what we needed. And so I rang the fishmonger that I had got the scraps from last year and said, do you have sardines, please? And he went, no, not today. I said, well, can I order 40 sardines for Friday? And he went, no, you'll have to call me on the day. So I said, okay, I'll call you on Friday. And I called this morning, which was Friday, and said, morning, it's me again. Do you have any sardines? And he went, no, I don't, not today. I had them yesterday. I thought you might call yesterday. So I was like, no, I'm pretty sure we agreed Friday. So never mind. I just was very gracious and said, oh, I must have forgotten. And then had to look around. And I rang a fishmonger, another fishmonger in San Michele Salentino called Mare Blu. And I said, in my best Italian, good morning, do you have sardines, please? And he went, no, we don't have sardines. We have alice. And I thought he said pilche, which is pilches, which is very similar. So I went, oh, do you sell any sardines at all? He went, no, we don't stock sardines. We don't get sardines. So I said to Pete, let's just go there anyway. And so I walked in and I said, hi, I'm here. I rang earlier. And she went, oh, yes, you're here for the alice. And I'm like, I thought it was pilche. I looked at these little fish and that's where we went from. Now, there's a bit of a joke about the bottles here. You'll notice that these are a famous brand of tonic water, and that's because I'm rather partial to a good gin and tonic, and 27 of these 70 bottles are tonic water bottles, and there's a good reason for that. I did say to Pete, who pulled my leg, he said, is this a reflection on our lifestyle? He doesn't drink gin and tonic, by the way, it's just me. And I said, well, the trouble is we don't like using plastic. So whenever we come here, we buy a 6-pack of water of 2 litres like this, and that's it. We use those water bottles to go in to the village pump and fill up with drinking water, because the drinking water here, well, the water here that we're using is rain harvested, and we're not, we haven't been able to have it tested yet for drinking quality. So it's coming out of the outside cisterns and all sorts. So we haven't actually managed to get drinking water here. So we go in and fill up, but we reuse our bottles. So there's a real shortage of 2-litre water drinking bottles here, because we actually try to minimise our plastic consumption and use as little as possible in the way of plastic bottles. But I'm pleased to say that the plastic that we do get all gets reused in useful ways, including in the allotment as upside down water feeders for things like tomato plants, which like the water going straight to the roots rather than around the base of the plant. I'll shut up now and let you speed this up. I probably should have explained that the olive fly isn't necessarily a problem for us in terms of production of extra virgin olive oil, but it's not great for the olives. The press will take it even though it's got the little marks and everything. It's obviously got an olive fly in it. It is a problem for eating olives, which we don't have. But it's the thought that there's an olive fly in there, and the cycle of the olive fly is roughly that they lay their eggs. So basically, the eggs get laid in the olive drops to the ground, and then the maggot crawls into the ground in October, November when the olives fall, or roughly around there. And so it buries itself in the ground, and it basically overwinters in the ground, and then about now is when it becomes a fly and it starts to buzz around, and the cycle starts again. The olives aren't formed yet, they're still blossoms, so it's a great time to put the tap traps up. But just so you know, it's not a problem for us because of it becoming oil. The press isn't fussy. They clean it all out anyway. But it's the fact that, you know, we've got these lovely big olives, and quite a lot of the time, especially the first year we came out here, they were just mush because of the olive fly. So on the small trees that we have, the 70 or so small trees, we think it makes a real difference. And you'll see the pictures later. But last year we had literally up to here full of black fly mass, and even with larvae beginning to come out the sides. So it was just gross, really gross. But that's the cycle of the olive fly. That's odd. So the bottle that gets the award for being the sturdiest, the best fit, Sprite. Doesn't have to be without sugar. The Sprite bottle is the best. Ta-da! Andiamo. So this feels a little bit like Blue Peter. Here is 70 whoa, that I prepared earlier. And as you'll see, I've tied string on the top already because it makes it quicker when I get to the trees themselves. And so I'm not faffing around, hopefully, with scissors and string, trying to get the right lengths. And if any of them are too short for the branches, I have got the string and scissors with me. So there's not the full 70 in here because they don't fit, but this is our little land trolley. And we're going out now to start putting, well, I'm going out there now to start putting these in the trees. On that note, Pete and I sort of have an unwritten, unspoken agreement that there are certain things that I do and there are certain things that he does. This is one of my not so nice jobs. Are we going to get through? Okay. This is one of my not so pleasant experiences, but it is sort of expected that I do it. Likewise, if something goes wrong with the drains, I have no interest whatsoever in sorting that out. So it works as a team, that works fine. You know, Pete does the rotivating, Pete does the strimming, I do the plants, and I do the weeding and. So I'm going to do the South Orchard first, and these trees are slightly bigger, so I've got the step ladder for this. And I won't make you watch all 70. So let's start with one that I can go up the step ladder. I've already picked a branch in advance, facing away from the wind. The idea is that they have to be in as much light as possible, and preferably in the centre of the tree. So this little branch here is absolutely perfect for being in the centre of the tree, and because Pete's trimmed the trees, this will get as much light as it needs to ferment, because that's what they do. And I'll do a bow because that way it's easier for me to take them off at the end than a knot. There we go. One down, 69 to go. So we're back after a month, And the olive fly traps have already been up for that month, so you saw the footage from that last time. This is the time for topping up. Now, you're supposed to use unperfumed ammonia, and I've tried looking in Italy. It's actually really hard around here to find out what sells what, unless you spend a lot of time going around looking. So somebody suggested I should go to the supermarket to buy my ammonia, liquid ammonia, but they only sell perfumed ammonia. So this is like a boo Peter. I've already done quite a lot, but one bottle has spread across 30 litres of water. So that's all I've needed for topping up the 2 orchards this time. And it all happens here. So basically watering cans, put the little third of a bottle in the bottom of a watering can, 10 litres, fill it up to the top, and that's done one side. So now we'll take you down the end and show you what the olive fly traps look like since the months that they've been up. It's the 19th of July today, and there's been no decent rain since May, so you can see how dry everything is looking, and the trees are beginning to show some signs of stress with their dry branches and stuff. I had a good look around as I was doing the olive traps yesterday, but this is the one I've saved to show you, and I'll do it now. So, oh, I forgot my funnel. That's a bit silly. So the tap trap's really easy to get off. You can see it's under the ridge there. All I have to do is that, and it comes down. I'm going to shake it up so you can see the flies in there. Hopefully you can see all those bits there. They're actually more like olive flies this year in here than there was last year. Last year we seemed to have a lot of blue bottles, and all other kinds of creatures, but this year it's a small fly and it looks very similar to the one that's online as an olive fly. They're quite hard to catch in real life, so I'm happy that these Alice are doing the job. So basically that has dropped by about half since it got done, so I'm going to put another half in there, and I forgot my funnel, which is a bit silly. So normally I'd use a funnel. Oh. And it's so that it doesn't evaporate completely in the next 7 weeks that we're away. And I guess the ammonia is just to sort of add an element of disinfectant, really. I don't know. So. But there you go, it was 1 part ammonia, liquid ammonia, to 10 parts water. And that should now last until we get back in the middle of September, when I might have to do it again. I hope you've enjoyed being in olive fly hell with me on this one until next year, and hope you've enjoyed watching it. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up. We love getting comments and we do reply to those, and even better if you subscribed and followed us with everything that we're doing here at La Bolla. Thank you very much.